Hello guys, welcome to my channel for the second battle of the tournament Wartavern Road to Interregio. I was facing PE, who is a player from France, ETC France actually, very good player. I played against him one time, a couple of years ago, so I was really eager to play against him again, because it will be for sure challenging, especially if you consider the list. You have a small overview. We will get a better view of it than this picture, but you can see already some blocks, and these are Seekers, Greybard, things like that. My list didn't change, it's always the same. The list of PE, so I didn't have the exact list that what he played, but I knew more or less what was within the list. Yeah, thanks to my memory and also thanks to the picture. So he was playing two very scary characters for me. This one has multi-wound 2 on all my army, basically, on large gigantic. This one has strength 6, multiple wound D3, 18 Greybeard with a Relentless Company, great weapon, 2 × 10 Greybeard, I think with shield and musician probably, 15 Greybeard with Vanguard, I think also with shield and musician, standard and champion here. 2 units of Seekers with Vanguard, 11 Seekers with Skirmishers, Vanguard, and 6 Old Guardian with probably full command and the standard that gives them an additional rank for steadfast purposes. So very solid list with full close combat oriented army, no magical support, no shooting at all, just close combat with several blocks, I think 5 totally, so very scary for me. We played Breakthrough and Encircle, and for the magical selection I took this one. Yeah, pretty obvious in this game. Try to do as much as I can with just range damage before combat and then go into combat. I don't have a lot of combat buffs, but that's what I'm able to take. Regarding the matchup, I played against this list recently, so I knew more or less how to face it, and I was able to come up with a game plan. I think it's quite complicated match because there's so many tools to deal with my unit. 2 scary lords, the Seeker block are not so easy for stuff like Giant and my Death Star as well. So it's definitely not easy, but there are some positive aspects in this game. The fact that it's Breakthrough is definitely the best scenario that I could have expected. The number of drops that I have at my disposal included Keen Eater. I should use them in order to delay the deployment of my key unit, meaning scoring unit, as long as I can. I want to see where it goes and where I can avoid most of his army. This will be my game plan, because Breakthrough allows you to play to avoid the army. You don't need really board control, so that's a big chance for me in this game. And I will try to use my unit with good lateral movement, so either the Hunter or the Giants to threaten his big block that will try to break through. That's the key. It's not only to avoid his army and break through, it's also to be able maybe to stop his breakthrough. And of course cannon don't have a huge role. I have of course Old Guardian, I can do some damage against them, but not much more than that. So the deployment part, which is very interesting in this game, we got on the map 2 very important terrain pieces. First of all is this impassable, and second one is this impassable, making like 3 corridor to break through. You have this one which is pretty large, this one in the middle is similar, and then the small one on the left. I won the roll for side, so I took big center, and my opponent had the attacker, so with the big flanks. I thought that might push him as back as I can on the deployment stage, because he has so many units with big footprints, he cannot put everything in the flank. Then I can really go on the other flank and avoid him completely. So that was pretty key, I think. And then when I saw his deployment, I was able to decide where I want to go. So he put a unit of great weapon, Longbeard, unit of Seeker, 1 scoring unit, 2nd small scoring, the Greybeard with the King, Old Guardian, and the Seeker block. And then when I saw that, I just put 1 Keen Eater on the board, and then I decided to go for the left part, because if you see, I should be able with the Death Star and my scoring to avoid completely this part of his army. which is already a very good part of the army, almost the half of it. And then here on the left I have to deal with the king, who is still quite far away from me, but foremost Old Guardian and Seekers. And I think I have some tools against the Old Guardian because of the multi-wound guy and also the Ligotongue. And against Seeker I just need to put enough against them. And here on the right we have the Iron Fist Giant, Great Weapon Giant, Cannon. Second cannon is here, a bit too high, should have been much lower, I guess, to be able to offer a counter charge, things like that. I think it was definitely too high, and these guys are pretty high as well to be able to act as chaff. Slight mistake that I did, I think, in this game was to vanguard this guy not high enough. Should have been on this position here on the left, or here much higher, to be able to chaff on turn 1. I think that would have been really key. Here I'm a bit hidden, but he has no shoot at all, so this makes no sense. I think I should have been much higher with the chaff to be able to chaff him early on, and then yeah, be much more aggressive and be able to go forward, because here he could maybe just block me with the impassable, and yeah, I want to go out of the impassable to have some room to maneuver. That would be helpful for me. He's turn 1, and Vanguard, of course, obviously. So yeah, these guys come as a line, these guys as well, to basically block. He blocks every option for me to go around, to go in this back line. So he does that really good. Leaves me with no room to go around his Seeker block. So move forward. Here you have the Seeker character. Here the Kings, King, Vanguard, and march forward to trap my cannon. Of course, I was too high, I said it before. I'm only able to move 6, so he could be able to get him. But I like the fact that he goes on the right part of the impassable, because then I'm still able to go on the left part, so that's positive. And he just reformed the Old Guardian to be able to move a bit forward, to be able to cover every aspect, every movement that I could make to go around. So I don't have a lot of options to be aggressive and go around him. No magic, no shooting, my turn 1. I move a bit forward on the left, move my cannon back, and be ready to flee and be able to rally with BSB. I move laterally, start to move laterally with all these 3 models, moving slowly to the left to support. And that's it. I was not able with my... He did that well. I'm not able to go out of arc with one of either of the hunters, so he did that pretty well. During magic phase I'm able to kill 5 of them with a Hand of Even, and then I'm able to get the Wrath of God on the hill, which is really nice. Positive turn 1. His turn 2, unfortunately I don't have every picture in this game because it was pretty intense and I really wanted to focus myself on the game, so I forgot a bit about the picture. But this Seeker block moved 9 to trap me with the impassable. So he moved a lot forward to trap me completely. Think slightly more here. The Old Guardian put themselves ready here in this position to counter charge, and here I completely I didn't saw that he has a small line of sight from this guy here to the Keen Eater, and then when he charged the cannon I fled, and then he passes the redirect check and he did a 10 on 2 dice to get me, and fortunately for me he failed. Of course, that doesn't mean he would have one-shot the Keen Eater. Still need with 4 attacks on 3+3+, and then pass my ward save to kill me, but if he kills me, basically that's the end of the game, because then he has a small overrun to get into the Death Star, so that could have been a fatal error.
So let's move on with my turn 2. Here I take some big decision. I need to go in combat against the Seeker, who blocked really well the space between the impassable. So I had no way with the first Hunter Jared to charge into the Old Guardian, no way also to move with Chaff or do anything like that. So I need to think carefully. There were basically 2 very interesting options for me. Was the first option, which I took, Death Star on the right, Jared, then Fishgut, so everybody in combat. The second option would have been a Death Star on the left and then Jared on the right, but there was no way. If you see the position here, I had to charge with Jared and then the Death Star, and yeah, with Fishgut it was impossible to do another arrangement. The only way to fit 3 was Death Star on the right, which I didn't like that much because of the Old Guardian, but then I made some math and I have Ligatong, so they have only 13 attack. Of course, with 8 3+, and then 2+. I have some models, so it can be a bit, dicey. But at the same time, I think throwing everybody in has the advantage of killing a lot of Seekers with impacts, and then the Hunters attack before the Death Star, meaning the Death Star will get less damage in return. That was my thought process. That's why I went with this option. Again, a small mistake in the play with the Saber-Tooth Tiger, who should have gone around and maybe stay like here, because there is no way he will charge it. Possibly with the Old Guardian, I think it would be a bad play, especially he will probably be free to charge me, so I think he has better things to do. And if I have a Saber-Tooth Tiger here, I can anytime go around and chaff, depending what he does with the Death Star. Of course, I rally the cannon, move around a bit with my Keen Eater to be ready to chaff later on, but I have no space here at the moment, so I'm again a bit too close from the impassable, similar situation to what happened during the last game against Asklander. And then the rest of the game, here, because of the Wrath of God that came down last turn, forgot to tell you about that, killed a lot of these guys, some of them. I had the opportunity to go around with the Iron Fist Giant, but I think that was a bad idea. Looks interesting at the first sight, because you say, okay, I'm in the back line, out of arc of everybody, no charge, great. But never forget that he can just turn around. If I fail a march check, then he can just kill me with the Seeker, and he will get a Giant with no risk overall. So definitely I think that was the best move, to just continue to slide slowly to the left. I know that my key mission, if you look, we are turn 2. I think I have a good chance of being able to throw all my scoring units in his zone, so to break through. And between these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 scoring units, I need to stop 3 of them. So I think the whole Guardian will be pretty busy with me. Then there are 4 units remaining, and that's where the Giant need to shine, basically. In the Magic phase, he used his Dispel Scroll against the Hereditary on the Death Star, obviously. And then he dispels -1 strength onto the Old Guardian, but I'm able to get a breast weapon on the Shaman. In close combat, I kill everybody except 3 of them. He's unbreakable, so he will be able to countercharge me with the Seeker, with the Old Guardian, which will be an interesting combat. He admitted to me that he forgot I got Ligatong, so that will be much more dicey than what he expected at first. Let's move on to his turn 3. Charge in with the Old Guardian, turns around Death Star to be ready. Basically, his idea is pretty simple. If I'm not able, he will be able to stick me, I need to counter charge, he will probably be able to stick this turn. So then if I'm here on his turn form, he could possibly charge with his Death Star against me. And as you can see, I'm far away with my chaff, so it might be difficult for me to chaff him. Especially my Keen Eater also are not so good plays, so I have struggled to play smart with Keen Eater around Impassable, because I would have stayed within the arc, meaning he could just charge with the Death Star, kill the Keen Eater, reform, which is also... But I think could have been better, because, for example, if I place a Keen Eater here, if he charge it and reform, I could still use the Impassable to my advantage, to not letting him have line of sight onto my Bruiser. So I think that there was definitely some better option to do. At some times, if I took a bit more time to think exactly what he could have done, what are the possible charges and so on, just decided to play safe here in the back, but I could definitely have done something smarter to divert a bit the Death Star and basically secure that if I'm able to deal with the Old Guardian, I'm safe. I think definitely there was a play to do. The rest, I'm checking my notes. I think, yeah, just he march forward, move also these units. These guys also march, try to come where the battle is, meaning this left corridor. And then close combat, he made a small mistakes. He challenged with the champion of the Seeker, and I think that was a bad idea, because then I was able to do overkill with Hunter. And I was able to kill all 3 hunters, all 3 Seekers, plus get overkill with the Hunter, which was pretty important at the end. And here in this close combat, with 13 attack on 3+ rollable and 2+, he was able to do 11 wound, which was just one wound too much. for me to be able to be steadfast, and this is problematic because I counted on that. He did exactly 1 wound too much for me, so I'm not steadfast. I strike back, but I lose by 3. I have a 5 reroll level for these guys. The 2 hunters are out of combat, so 5 reroll level here, and I'm able to stick, which is definitely huge, definitely. So this is a turning point. My turn 3, I'm able to countercharge with Jared in the face because he reforms in this way, and Fishgut in the flank. As you can see with my iron, the Death Star was only able to kill 1 model, which is not so good considering the amount of attack of this unit. So I countercharge with Fishgut in the flank, Jared in the front, so I should be fine because I have multi-wound. And then here I double charge, 1 time with cannon, 1 time with giant. I was able to connect with the cannon on the flank, which was interesting. Will be probably a tricky steadfast 10 with no reroll for him. I could win big with this move, and here I just moved a bit my Saber-Tooth Tiger and continue to move my scoring unit towards the breakthrough. I continue to slide laterally with the giants, stay out of range of this guy. Here I can always flee or do things like that if he tries to charge me, but I really needed to pin them in place basically, because next turn I will be free here, and if he can charge me, it's a nightmare scenario. So I think here these 2 charges were key. I was really happy to connect with 1. I'm able to get -1 strength on them. It dispels the hereditary, which is good. And then I kill everybody. Multi-wound, Fishgut with 6 strength 6, impact strength 6, it's huge. And he is able to pass the steadfast and pass the reform, both on the 10 with no reroll. So important. His turn 3, his turn 4, I have no picture, I can tell you what happened. So he is in combat, he reformed. The left, everybody died. Here, I guess these guys continue to push here and look that way. Them, they're in combat, they reform, they turn a bit around, he moved a bit forward, these guys as well. Continue to put pressure. And yeah, nothing else. I think he tried to charge the cannon here with the Seeker on the 11th Swift Ride, but failed, so only moved a couple of inches forward, and he double failed the march check because of the giant. Really, the role of the giant with the block of the march against an army that has no BSB is really huge, because I was able to make him fail multiple march check and therefore to slow him down, which is really key in this game. And obviously in close combat he killed my cannon with the multiple wound, and that's the only combat that we have, and reform. My turn 4. So obviously I took a lot of casualties onto the Death Star, so I just turn around the Bruiser, going to hide in this corner and save the point. I put Captain Marlon and Gross the Shaman, both of them together, Kinita to chaff. I could have used actually the Saber-Tooth Tiger. I don't know why I used the Kinita to do that. I wanted a big enough base to block these 2 units charging around, so that he can only charge alone with the king, but he has no good line of sight with the king. That was the idea. But I could have just put on the sides the Saber-Tooth Tiger, which is much cheaper. Yeah, and then scoring unit are just all going for the breakthrough. I put all my hunter in some nice area out of arc of this unit, so no nice charge for him next turn. And my giant, basically, I know my task is simple. He has 2 turns left. I need with 2 giant and a chariot to stop him going for the breakthrough with these 2 units. 1, 2, 3 units. He need all 3 of them in the breakthrough zone, so hard choice for him on the next turn. In the magic phase, what happened? He dispelled. Let me see. No, I killed. End of even killed 2 Seekers. Then I burst weapon strength 5 onto the Keen Eater. Was able to kill all of them and put 2 wounds onto the Lord, so he was alive. Then I think I tried to shoot, but I failed. And yeah, that was it. So let's move on to his turn 5. Again, I have no picture, but basically with the Lord Seeker, he charged onto the Keen Eater. This guy just moved in front of the giant, turn around these guys to go for the breakthrough. They made a column to go for the breakthrough. They moved forward. And yeah, that was it, I guess. I guess he tried to charge something that I please. Ah, no, that was me, sorry. So on my turn, I charged with Iron Fist Giant onto them. They fled a couple of inches. I didn't catch them and roll a double one. I just moved him sideways to stop a possible breakthrough. I know this guy is trapped because I wasn't able to catch him, but at least I blocked the breakthrough. I would have been really happy to catch it, but wasn't the case. And then these guys, because they block this unit to charge me, I move here to maybe last turn try something. Here also Keen Eater is on side. If needed, I can always charge, chaff, and so on. And they all move for the breakthrough. Here I charge with Fish Gut. I move the two guys to finish the Seeker character with one wound with the magic and shooting, and that was it, I guess. In the magic, I'm able with an end of event to kill this guy. And his turn 6, he will rally them, reform them in the block, I guess. They will move a bit forward. Of course, the king will come and kill the giant. And here, Fishgut will deal with them in 2 turns, I guess. That's how it looks at the end. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we just reformed here. I guess he fled again against this giant, probably. Most likely, just fled again. So I took half point, and I didn't redirect in this unit who was in a block because I don't want to face so many great weapon guys in my last turn. And that was it. So interesting game, tough game, very interesting, definitely. I was able to get a bit more than 2,000 points. He was able to get a giant, a cannon, and a Keen Eater from me. And with the breakthrough, I'm able to get a 17-3, which is a huge victory. Definitely happy about the score because it didn't always look like I was going to win 17, definitely. What can I say about this game? Definitely happy about my game plan and the deployment. I think that was the good idea, definitely. These early mistakes with the Keen Eater could have cost me the game, definitely. So I need to pay attention. I keep doing this kind of small mistakes sometimes, which can become very big mistakes. So I need to be more concentrated, but I don't know how to avoid this kind of mistakes. I guess it's just a matter of concentration, training, and yeah. I definitely hope I won't do this kind of mistakes again. And definitely struggling to see which one was the better play. I could have also charged with the Death Star on the left and Jared on the right on turn 2. But I think for me the main question is not really about this maximization, it's much more what I should have done with the Saber-Tooth Tiger, and I shouldn't have been in this situation in turn 2 and 3. Definitely. If I played better with my Saber-Tooth Tiger, I would have chaffed him and avoid him going forward to block me in this corner, and therefore could have used my mobility and do much more. So I definitely think I struggle a bit about how I played with my Saber-Tooth Tiger and how I played also with the Keen Eater to be able to chaff him more. So definitely think my chaffing game in the early stages put me into this situation, which was a bit too risky to my taste, to be honest. I think that's the correct analysis of the situation. It's not really about where you charge, because both options are pretty valid, and I definitely think that I had good odds of winning against, or at least holding against the Old Guardian. But with a better place early on, I could have avoided this situation, I'm pretty certain. And yeah, always the same conclusion in the key combat when the opponent has a dispatch scroll. I'm only with the breath weapon, which is not that much. And on my opponent's side, I think one key thing is the fact that he forgot a bit the scenario. He really wanted to come at me, to get my scoring, get the Death Star, and he forgot a bit how to get his scenario. I think it was definitely possible by not coming to the left part of the board with the skirmisher seekers that didn't see really combat, but rather stay on the right, secure the pass for both scoring unit to go score in my zone, and then just with the king's unit go and score. And with that, I think he could have avoided this big defeat and only maybe lose small, at least. So there was definitely some other options for him to play better on the objective, I think. So yeah, that was all. Very interesting game. I hope you liked the battle report. I will be facing Andy on table 2 from ETC Switzerland. So very interesting game against Andy on the last battle of this tournament for me. You can even see Andy. I think he's on this picture. Yeah, he's here. That was during one of the trip for the ETC. I don't remember in which country, but yeah, funny again to play against Andy because he's a really top player. So really good memories with him together. It's always cool to face him as well because he is an amazing player. So it's always a good opportunity for me to learn something during this kind of games. And this was also for me a good opportunity to maybe win the tournament or at least play on the podium because I'm on table 2, very close to the top guys. So I have a good chance if I'm able to do good against his Saurian Enchant to maybe win the tournament even. So that would have been cool. So yeah, thanks a lot guys for watching this battle report. I hope you liked it. And yeah, talk to you soon on my channel. Bye.